CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Connor Hogg.
We heard a very loud boom sound outside.
An Edmonton family is among those trapped because of the escalating violence in the Middle East. They say their kids are traumatized. They're turning the TV volume up to try to drown out the noise from outside. Good evening. That Edmonton family was only supposed to spend 3 hours in Qatar. As CTV's Nicole Lampa explains, their journey home started off with difficulties and is only getting worse.
Intercepted missile explosions have become the norm for an Edmonton family stuck in Qatar's capital.
Today it was more intense compared to other days because generally 2 to 3 explosions, but today we hear continuously 7 to 8 explosions.
Nirmal Beniwal says he and his family were on their way home to Edmonton after spending a month in India. Just over a week ago, their flight from New Delhi was delayed for 2 days. On Saturday, the Beniwals, including their 2 children, made it to Doha. After a brief layover, they boarded a flight to Dallas, which was cut short.
And we ended up doing the emergency landing after 3 to 4 hours in the air.
Now back in Doha, they encountered chaos and confusion on the ground. All the flights were canceled because of the American attack on Iran. That evening, the Beniwals heard Iran's first attempted missile attack over Doha.
The U.S. air base from where we are staying right now is not that far. So whenever there is a missile or drone attack, you can hear the big bang, boom sounds.
Because of where Qatar is situated, the airspace above is closed.
The only way out, I think, maybe by road to the neighboring country and then getting a flight from there.
Beniwal says German nationals at his hotel are escaping thanks to their country. He's been told they are taking an 8-hour bus ride to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia and flying out from there. Beniwal is looking for the same type of help from Canada.
I especially see the impact of this war, especially on the children right now. They are traumatized and they are scared.
Beniwal has registered with Canadians abroad requesting assistance. He has also reached out to his Edmonton Southeast MP. His office says they are in contact with constituents stuck in the region. Nicole Lampa, CTV News, Edmonton.
An equipment rental company is facing nearly a dozen charges after a deadly tent collapse at a meditation retreat nearly 2 years ago. In August 2024, a storm in Westlock knocked down a tent, killing 1 person and injuring others. Nearly 100 people were inside the tent at the time. Occupational Health and Safety has laid 10 charges against Alberta Special Event Equipment Rentals and Sales Limited. One of the charges describes the unsafe installation of the tent as creating identifiable and controllable hazards. The allegations have not been tested in court. The province says 16 new school projects planned for rural Alberta will help alleviate pressure in the classroom.
We're making these crucial investments to build new schools across the province to catch up with the historic population growth that has been straining our classrooms and staff.
Some of the new schools will be in Lac La Biche, Stony Plain, and Sylvan Lake. Other projects will see schools revamped, modernized, or expanded. School boards in St. Albert and Fort Saskatchewan are pleased with the new plans.
We work really hard to advocate for what is best and right for our students, and I believe that today is the day that the government has listened to us.
We know that we are ready to hit the ground with our plan so that we can, as quickly as possible, access the funds that will help us get this school built.
The current funding is only for the planning and design phase, not construction. Opposition NDP leader Naheed Nenshi is criticizing the amount of money spent on design instead of actual construction. Education Minister Demetrius Nicolaides says while the province does have several off-the-shelf school designs, fitting them onto different-sized lots isn't always an option. Jasper's mayor says progress on rebuilding the town is ahead of schedule. That's in part to the federal and provincial governments spending millions of dollars on new building projects. CTV's Evan Kenny visited Jasper to get the latest on the housing development.
Workers are hard at it rebuilding Jasper. The town's mayor guessed a third of the buildings lost in the wildfire would be rebuilt since the start of 2025. He says more than 100 buildings are already either under construction or complete.
We have exceeded where we thought we would be for 2025.
This is just one of the new builds, an affordable housing complex with 40 units. The federal government is giving $14.3 million for this project, the province adding in $6.5.
We're committed to making sure that there is a full and complete recovery in Jasper, and that may very well involve the expenditure of additional monies.
Jasper is truly one of Alberta's and Canada's crown jewels, and once again the sun is shining on Jasper today. The
province has promised another $5.5 million for the next phase of the project.
We can rebuild what was here before, or we can rebuild in a way that creates more homes and strengthens our community for the future.
Jasper's mayor says the town was short about 600 housing units before the fire and lost about 820 during it.
We think that we are on pace, but we recognize that not everybody is at the same spot, and that's just the reality that will exist for the next several years as we work through recovery.
It cannot ever go fast enough. You got to trust the process and how it comes along, and Jasper is doing its best to get it as quick as possible up.
This land was sold to the town of Jasper by Parks Canada for $1. Phase 1 of this project is expected to be complete at the end of this year. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Jasper.
Condo owners are reacting to news Alberta is getting a condo dispute resolution tribunal. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, one condo owner isn't convinced dispute costs will go down.
Donna Stevenson has been living in this Rutherford condo for 12 years. When she learned about the new condo dispute resolution tribunal, she had mixed feelings.
It was very positive, but disappointing at the same time.
While the tribunal will keep disputes outside the courtroom, boards can still hire lawyers.
Yes, owners can too. At another expense for the owners, where the boards don't necessarily pay. It's corporation money per se that they're using.
The province says the dispute tribunal will speed up resolution processes and give clarity and fairness to owners. Stevenson has doubts.
For $150 versus tens of thousands of dollars to go to the courts, it's going to look like a good option to a lot of owners. But until we get some results, I'm not holding my breath.
In a statement, the province says lawyers are not required to participate in the tribunal, but Albertans have the right to seek legal advice or representation if they feel it is necessary to their specific situation. Condo owner advocate Terry Gibson says the dispute tribunal will put more onus on condo boards.
It's been very difficult for condo owners in Alberta to get all of the documentation that they want effectively, and this legislation is going to make things much more transparent.
He says a lack of transparency is one of the biggest drivers of disputes.
People aren't feeling hurt by their boards, and when people start asking questions, boards get defensive.
While Stevenson has had issues with her condo board, she still recommends condo living.
I would say do it. It's a fantastic way of life. However, you have to be prepared.
Applications won't be accepted until the province officially puts the tribunal in place this spring. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
A grassroots group fighting to keep Alberta a part of Canada is back and growing. Forever Canadians says they expect a separation referendum will happen in the fall, and they're now trying to generate even more support. CTV's Amanda Anderson has that story.
We have been quiet for a while.
Forever Canadian hopes to get louder in the coming months. Last fall, the group collected nearly 500,000 signatures in a successful citizen-led petition to keep Alberta part of Canada.
We were hoping that this issue would be resolved in the legislature by a simple vote, but it appears that through a number of rule changes by our Alberta government, we are now heading towards a referendum in October.
An opposing group, the Alberta Prosperity Project, is collecting signatures of its own to force a referendum, asking for Alberta to separate.
I don't understand the people that don't like this idea, because Alberta will be the richest country in the world almost. we would be so much better off with our health care and pensions and the works.
Forever Canadian spokesperson and former Alberta Deputy Premier Thomas Lukaszuk says it won't be an easy fight.
We acknowledge the fact that there are issues in the relationship within our federation. Albertans have issues, British Columbians have issues, Nova Scotians have issues. Those issues need to be resolved, but separation is not the answer. Separation will only cause more problems.
Nous sommes Canadiens pour toujours.
Today, the Association Canadienne Française de l'Alberta, representing 260,000 Francophone Albertans through its support behind Forever Canadian. It believes Francophone Albertans won't have the same protections they now enjoy in an independent Alberta.
So this is why we're here today, to ensure that our rights are protected for today and the future.
Forever Canadian says it will be ready.
And we're not only going to win this referendum, we are going to win this referendum decisively, so we will put separatism to bed once and for all in Alberta.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
3 more recall petitions against UCP MLAs have failed. The signature collection period to recall MLAs Adriana LaGrange, Tanya Furr, and Peter Singh ended today. The Albertans behind those petitions say they failed to collect the number of signatures required. The period to collect signatures to recall NDP MLA Amanda Chapman also ended today. We're waiting to hear how many signatures were collected. 8 of the 26 recall petitions are still eligible to collect signatures, including 1 to recall Premier Danielle Smith. So far, every petition has failed. Several national health organizations are speaking out against Alberta's plan for physicians to work in both the public and private healthcare systems. Doctors say it will increase wait times, but Premier Danielle Smith says the coming changes will improve care. CTV's Mark Villani has more.
Wealthier patients waiting for a hip or knee replacement will soon be able to jump the public queue and pay out of pocket for such a procedure in Alberta. A move critics say could leave those depending on public health care waiting even longer as doctors float between private and public systems.
Doctors can't be in 2 places at once.
The province says these changes are meant to improve access. The Premier had a stark message for critics.
Well, they're wrong.
Legislation known as Bill 11 is set to be implemented in the months to come, allowing Alberta doctors to accept private payment for care that's currently covered by public insurance.
If you're willing to pay me 4 times as much as the public system pays me, I'm going to save 1, 2, 3, 4 spots in that clinic.
Smith says other provinces like Quebec have made their doctors choose between public or private care. She doesn't want that. Instead, she expects Alberta physicians to perform the same number of procedures in both systems.
And so our priority is the public system. We want to make sure that no one ever has to pay out of pocket for medically necessary care, and we will be monitoring it.
But some medical experts gathered in Ottawa Thursday to say that's just not possible. Adding public health care will lose resources, and there aren't enough physicians to keep up with demand.
That would mean longer waits, fewer available doctors, and more strain on the public system.
Others are now calling on the federal government to step in and enforce the Canada Health Act, suggesting Alberta's 2-tier system violates a patient's rightful access to care.
We know the harm that will come from a system that prioritizes wealth over need. This is not the Canada that we train to serve.
Still, Smith disagrees, suggesting this will lead to Albertans taking themselves off the public queue to take advantage of this new option.
We anticipate this will increase capacity.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
The Edmonton Oilers have traded away a veteran forward who recently cleared waivers and a draft pick for a pair of centers. The Oilers are sending Andrew Mangiapane and a first-rounder to the Chicago Blackhawks for Jason Dickinson and Colton Dach. 30-year-old Dickinson has 13 points in 47 games this season. 23-year-old Dach has 9 points in 53 games. Oilers GM Stan Bowman says Dickinson will help prevent goals, while Dach will add size and energy.
They all have very specific identities, and they bring an element that I think our team was missing, and that's what we're most excited about.
Bowman says he doesn't expect to make any other moves, but will keep his options open until the trade deadline passes tomorrow afternoon. Coming up next, the province is making more changes to Alberta's wine tax after industry backlash to its initial adjustments. Also just ahead, reaction to the upcoming property tax hike the province is bringing in to pay for education upgrades in this year's budget.
Anytime that anybody sees an increase right now, it certainly doesn't make the affordability easier.
Our community is so vocal about getting more schools here.
Good evening, folks. The warm air rolled in through the day today. We got a handful of degrees above zero. Should be even warmer tomorrow and Saturday. However, the chance of some freezing rain in the Edmonton area tomorrow morning that may affect the morning commute. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
An art installation has returned to Kingsway Mall that shines a light on domestic violence. This display is both a fundraiser and an awareness campaign for Win House Women's Shelter. The model home is designed to look unassuming from the front. In the back, you'll find dioramas of places around the home where real Win House clients have experienced violence or abuse. Shoppers can listen to their stories through a pair of giant headphones. Win House says sharing these stories sheds light on an issue that often happens out of sight.
Domestic violence is everybody's problem, and until we all can talk about it, speak of it, try to find solutions for it, it's going to stay with us.
Last year, Win House took in more than 400 women, children, and non-binary people at its 3 shelters. It says it had to turn away more than 1,800 people fleeing violence because there wasn't enough space. Campaign organizers aim to raise $25,000 for Win House by the end of the month. Triple-digit tax hikes from the provincial government have shocked people across the Calgary area. Property owners in nearby cities like Chestermere and Airdrie will also have to pay much more this year. The Premier is defending the move, saying it's the price to pay to cover growth. CTV's Jordan Canagan has more.
A week after the provincial budget dropped, Alberta municipalities are adjusting to provincial taxes going up.
45% of the tax bill is going to the province, meaning that only 55% of that tax bill actually remains in Chestermere for us to be able to utilize.
Chestermere is seeing the largest increase in the amount of money needing to go to the province for education taxes of any city in Alberta. The overall requisition amount for Chestermere is jumping by 31%. The average homeowner there will pay $300 more in property taxes to the province.
Anytime that anybody sees an increase right now, it certainly doesn't make the affordability easier. And what I would say with that is this is where it's going to be really, really important that the province continues to partner with municipalities on the communication about this.
Nearby, Airdrie is also dealing with the tax hike. The overall provincial requisition for that city climbing by 19%. The average Airdrie homeowner will pay $259 more to the Alberta government this year.
Affordability is huge. People do find a way. I think, though, in Airdrie, the critical thing to understand is that our community is so vocal about getting more schools here. A lot of our schools have been bursting at the seams for quite some time.
Help for education space in those communities is coming. Both Chestermere and Airdrie are in line to receive school construction funding from the province.
I think property owners understand that on one hand, they pay taxes to the municipality to do municipal things like fix roads and potholes and snow clear and fix water pipes. And they also pay money to the province to be able to make sure their kids get a great education.
Critics say it doesn't make those tax jumps any easier to take.
You know, the Minister of Finance has said over and over again that the Alberta advantage is because it's affordable to live here. And yet they're doing everything they can to erode that affordability.
Jordan Canagan, CTV News, Calgary.
Starting next month, Alberta's wine tax will revert to a flat markup. Budget 2025 introduced ad valorem markup rates on wine, meaning the markup rate increased as the price of the wine increased. That sparked industry backlash. A coalition from Alberta and BC's wine and hospitality industries argued the rate disproportionately affects smaller producers and independent retailers. The province says it only applied to 16% of wines Albertans were buying. It will get rid of the ad valorem markup April 1st and increase the standard volume-based markup for wine products by 58 cents a litre. 35 years ago today, a then relatively unknown band, Nirvana, performed at the Bronx, which is now the Starlight Room. It was the first and only time Nirvana played in Edmonton to just over 100 people. They were introducing their new drummer, Dave Grohl, who now fronts the Foo Fighters. They also talked about the release of their then upcoming album Nevermind, which brought grunge to the mainstream and ended up becoming one of the best-selling albums of all time. Still ahead on CTV News, a whale of a tale. They usually work on dinosaur fossils. This is one of the most complicated and biggest projects a team of Drumheller skeleton constructors has ever worked on.
An incredible opportunity for us to learn from the animal.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. Pretty close to average this morning with that low of -11. But look at it. We got to 6 degrees for a daytime high today. Well above average. -2 the average daytime high. In fact, by the time you get to Monday, the average high is 0. We'll be warm through the weekend, but then things cool off again next week. So this warm air is not going to stick around for the foreseeable future. There's your chance of some wet snow or freezing rain tomorrow morning from Edmonton off to the north and northwest. As the morning carries on, that stretches off to the east. I think even if this is just wet snow as opposed to rain, that's still going to pose problems with some freezing on surfaces, side streets and sidewalks especially. Most of the major roadways should just be wet at that time. But temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be slightly below 0. So if this does turn to be more rain as opposed to snow, freezing rain is a distinct possibility. Keep that in mind for tomorrow morning. Should see some sunny breaks in the afternoon. Some more rain develops in the Peace Country through the afternoon hours tomorrow, and by tomorrow night you have snow across the north, maybe a couple centimeters worth, and from Edmonton off to the north and west, overnight Friday, early Saturday, another chance of some showers or wet snow, maybe patchy freezing rain in a couple of spots, although I think in the city temperatures should be warm enough while that goes through that it's just showers as opposed to freezing rain. Saturday afternoon, most of the rain's in western Alberta. There's a slight chance maybe Saturday night for a few scattered showers in the Edmonton area, but I think the real risks are going to be tomorrow morning and then again late tomorrow night. -13's Fort McMurray Cold Lake, -1 in Grand Prairie for a low, -9 in the Red Deer region. Daytime high of -11 in Fort McMurray, but you're above 0 just to the south. Cold Lake, Lac La Biche, Vegreville. Should be about 3 degrees in Grand Prairie. 8 for Edson. Red Deer gets to 6 degrees tomorrow, and here in the city, we'll get to about 7 or 8. Chance of a rain-snow mix or some patchy freezing rain in the morning, then sunny breaks in the afternoon. Another risk there overnight Friday, early Saturday for a little bit of freezing rain or some showers. Don't forget it's time change this weekend, and after a big warm-up Saturday that pushes us into double digits, a little bit of a cool down as we head into next week. That is your forecast.
The team at Dinosaur Valley Studios in Drumheller has built many prehistoric creatures. Its biggest project to date is a more modern one. CTV's Kevin Fleming took a look.
Many of the bones are placed into their cradles on a steel structure built from scratch by fabricators at Dinosaur Valley Studios. It's a massive skeleton measuring over 21 meters long, but some of the bones were broken when the dead blue whale came to rest on shore.
The whole left side was damaged. Because it was laying on its left side on the beach, and so all the bones all the ribs we had to fix.
Jason Van Cleef uses glue and foam to make repairs that will then be sanded down and painted to hide the fix. The biggest challenge for the team was the skull. It was broken badly, likely after a ship strike, and the decision was made to replace it.
We carved this scale model just so we could get kind of a ballpark of what exactly we want to do with the skull, how we want to put it together, how we want to mount it. You know, it's easier when you make a miniature.
The skeleton is clean today, but arrived at the studio in East Cooley needing a lot of work.
The mandibles alone, the lower jaws, we probably purged 150 pounds per jaw of oil out of each one.
The whale was light for its size, weighing less than 100,000 kilograms when discovered in 2015 on the Oregon shoreline.
It was an incredible opportunity for us to learn from the animal, but also to recover the animal with the ultimate desire to articulate the skeleton and put it on display at Hatfield Marine Science Center, which is where the Marine Mammal Institute is housed.
We wanted to have a more dynamic pose, not just a straight line. So we have an arc, and it's going to be slightly turning, that it's a whale that's just beginning a dive down.
Frank Hadfield says the next big job on the project is to paint the steel structure and spray a protective coating on the bones so they can withstand the harsh weather on the Oregon coast. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, near Drumheller.
Thanks for watching tonight. From all of us here, we appreciate you spending your time with us. Have a good night.